everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's doing really well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do a lot of career and personal finance related videos here on my channel, so if that's something of interest to you, then please do subscribe to my channel down below, and I will also leave a link to my website as well in case you are interested in one-on-one career consulting. I help with interview prep, preparing CVs, cover letters, and all of that good stuff. So if that's something of interest to you as well, then check out the link down below. But as you can tell by the title of today's video, I want to share with you what I spend in a week during lockdown. Now, I've done a few videos like this here on my channel before. This one is a little bit different just because I have a lot of interesting expenses this week that I have sort of splurged on, and I thought this would just be a fun take on the usual, you know, what I spend in a week. But if you are interested in my other what I spend in a week, I will also leave them down below as well. Now, a lot of these expenses, I will also include my regular expenses in this as well, along with the unnecessary expenses that I did make this week. So if you are interested, then please keep watching. Also, I will be sharing with you what these expenses look like on my budget template, which looks like this, and I'll also leave a link to my budget template down below. You can download it for free, but let's just get started. Okay, so let's get started. So for the first item I have is obviously for my rent. You guys all know I moved in here. I moved into this new apartment in early January, so I think January 12th to be precise. So I've been here for almost 9 months now, which is absolutely insane. And my weekly rent is $550. If you do want to see an apartment tour, I do have that on my other lifestyle channel, which I will also leave down below in case you are interested. I've shared my apartment tour, which I actually just shot 2 weeks ago, so it's very much up to date. If you haven't seen that, be sure to check it out. But weekly rent is about $550. I currently live in Sydney. I'm not within the CBD. I am about 30-40 minutes away from the CBD, so my rent $550, and that basically includes my, obviously, this apartment, but I have amenities as well which are also included, things like a swimming pool, a gym, a sauna. We have a rooftop sort of terrace area as well, which is really nice. There's also concierge services as well, so I think that sort of makes up for the $550 worth of rent. So in terms of my utilities, I don't actually have to pay for my water bill. That's paid by my landlord. The only thing I do have to pay is obviously for gas and electricity, and at the moment that comes to about $60 a month, but if I break that down, it is about $15 a week. So along with that, I'm also having to pay my phone bill as well, which ends up costing me about $89 a month. So I've gone ahead and divided that, so that's about $22 for the week. It is very expensive, but I mean, I do use my phone a lot. Of course it is lockdown, so I'm not really going out anywhere, but I know when I do go out, I do use my phone quite a fair bit. And then obviously I've got at-home Wi-Fi as well, which is $15 per week. So those are all of my sort of household expenses that I do pay for the week. So it comes to about $602.25. Now let's move on to the category of food. So I have been splurging a little bit on food, as you know, I think everyone is, because we're in lockdown. There's really nothing much to do. So to enjoy ourselves in lockdown, we're all sort of, you know, buying a lot of food. So in terms of groceries, for a week I've been trying to make, you know, different recipes, and because of that, my weekly expenditure for groceries is about $80. A lot of you guys may think that's a lot, which is fine, but for me it is $80. And then for takeout, I have $50 a week. That's give or take. I generally do try to make my meals at home, but for days that I am actually lazy, then I obviously resort to a restaurant. So that's $50 there. And a big purchase that I actually did make this week was I actually purchased the NutriBullet. I did have one before, but I wanted to get a more powerful one because that one was obviously getting a little bit old and it wasn't really working that well. So I decided to upgrade and get the 2-in-1 blender and NutriBullet, just because I want to be able to make, you know, soups, dips with the blender as well, make some juices and obviously some smoothies as well. So I upgraded to the new NutriBullet, and that costed me about $186.75, and that, mind you, was on sale. I did use Shopback as well for that, which obviously is a cash reward system, so I did use that. And if you are interested in signing up to my link, I'll leave it down below as well in case you are interested. So altogether that came to a total of $316.75. Okay, now moving on to personal care. Now generally personal care will be very high for me usually, but because we're in lockdown, I don't really have many personal care expenses. I don't have any grooming, no gym membership, nothing around health and wellness. So the only thing that I did actually pay for was my health insurance, which is $140 a month. So that ends up being around, you know, $35 or so a week, which is definitely very expensive compared to a lot of health funds out there. But this just works for me, and I feel like I'd rather have more cover than be undercovered, because you just never know what's gonna happen. So altogether that comes to a total of $35. Now if you move down to transport, so of course with transport I'm not going anywhere. I really don't have any sort of expenses around, you know, transport. I don't have a car. I don't have, obviously I'm not taking an Uber, I'm not taking the train, I don't have any car maintenance, so that will come down to $0 for me. Now, of course, the miscellaneous expenses is where I sort of splurged this month or this week. So the first miscellaneous item that I ended up taking up this week was, I actually did a coffee cup reading, so a psychic reading, just because I've been always, you know, very intrigued to speak to a clairvoyant, I think is what they've also called as well. So I've just been very fascinated by that whole world, and I just wanted to know, you know, obviously about my future, my career, my work, relationships, you know, finances, etc. So I did go ahead and see one, and of course, as we all know, they are very expensive. So I splurged a little, and I had to pay $180 for a 45-minute reading. I know you guys are going to be like, what a waste of money, but YOLO. I mean, it's my entertainment. If lockdown wasn't happening, then I would definitely be spending that money elsewhere, going out for dinners, you know, expensive restaurants. So for me, I can sort of justify that. Now the next item that I did actually splurge a lot on during the last week is obviously shopping for clothes. You guys all know I love fashion. I love, you know, spending money on clothes, on, you know, good quality clothes, and a lot of it is to do obviously with my branding for my fashion channel as well, my fashion Instagram page. So I do a lot of shopping online, and I do like scouting for new pieces. So I ended up spending about $500 this week on clothes. And the next item that I did actually end up getting was Spotify. I never used to really have Spotify before. I always just used to use the free version just because I really never needed it, and I would always just play my music through YouTube, and I've got an ad blocker, so I never really used to have any issues with that. So I just noticed, you know, when I do go out for walks, when I do, you know, work out in the morning, and just having music playing in the background is always just very, very peaceful, and I just feel like it keeps me company in this apartment, so I'm not lonely. So I always do like to make sure I've got music, and instead of me changing it on my laptop, I would rather have it accessible on my phone. So Spotify is about a $12 subscription per month, so that ends up being about $3 a week. Now the next thing, which is actually a very big purchase that I did actually make this week, and that is purchasing a designer belt. And let me just justify this situation, because it's not just any designer belt, it's a 2-in-1. So I'm really technically, you know, paying for 2 belts for the price of 1, just because it is a reversible belt. And for that belt, I actually ended up spending about $640. Mind you, it was on sale. I didn't have to pay for shipping. So yeah, that's my big splurge for this week. I'm really thankful I didn't do this video last week, because I actually ended up purchasing a my first designer luxury handbag. So yeah, I'm glad we're doing it this week and not last week. So all up, that comes to a total of about $1,340 for that week in terms of miscellaneous related expenses. Now, the total weekly expenditure for this week comes to $2,294. I know you guys are gonna be like saying, what are you doing? You're spending all your money on useless crap. But honestly guys, I feel like I have been very sort of wise with my money. I've been very smart about my money up until this point, and I have been able to afford, you know, my investment properties, invest in a little bit of crypto, invest into, you know, NFTs as well. And I feel like I'm in a pretty stable, you know, financial situation. And it's moments like these where I feel like, you know, I don't want to have to think twice about money. I've sort of set myself up in a way that I feel comfortable in having these, you know, once-off, you know, occasions where I do sort of end up splurging my money. And for me, that's okay. It works with me. It's in line with my goals and my strategy. And to be honest, you only live once, right? So I feel like, you know, if I didn't have the financial stability, of course I would not be making these sorts of purchases. But because I have been working hard throughout my entire year to get to this point where I am today, I feel like I can sort of justify these expenses. So that's everything around what I spent this week during lockdown. A lot of these expenses, I mean, are pretty ordinary expenses. Not many people do have any other expenses during lockdown, but I thought it would just be fun to share with you how much I did spend in a week. I know it's a little bit crazy, but I mean, we're all in lockdown and it is a little bit crazy. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please give this video a thumbs up, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks, guys.